Hello, YouTube. Some impressions with the closed beta over the weekend, which the closed beta is now closed, and in a few days we'll see the launch of the open beta for everybody with a few changes. There were a couple of noticeable bugs. One, people's shield stats did not appear until you actually started attacking them. It would appear that they only had one bar charged, and then the other two would be kind of reddish, like they were in the process of recharging. The other one was commanders were not appearing as hollow boxes on the screen until they deployed weapons, so that was another bug. But overall, most of the quality of life improvement stuff was good, with a couple of notable exceptions, and that is the addition of the heatsink synthesis and the chaff synthesis. I don't think chaff synthesis is needed. We have enough of them by default. And the heat sinks now just allow people to run incredibly hot builds and not have to worry about, choosing between, do I pop a heatsink now to cool off my weapons in order to get another shot in, or do I wait and use it in conjunction with shield cell banks? As it stands right now, you can once again stack 3, 4, 5, 6, however many shield cell banks your power consumption limits allow, and sit there and pop all of them at one time and not have to worry. You run out of heat sinks, just go over to the synth menu and create more. And as long as you have materials, you're fine. Furthermore, I think that the heatsink recipe is wrong. I think that it should require things like iron, nickel, tin, tungsten, materials that can be found on the surface of planets. Whereas it stands right now, it requires manufactured materials, which usually come from destroying cargo ships and piracy, power play type activities. And as a result of that, it's not going to be very useful for explorers out in the black. Now, a couple of suggestions that have come out to rectify these situations change the recipe absolutely, being number one, so it is more useful for explorers. Two, at the very least, there needs to be a spool up and cooldown time added to heatsink synthesis. Basically, you click heatsink synthesis, and like how it takes a while for the shield cell banks to build up before charging, same thing. You press it, and you don't get those heat sinks delivered until about 30 seconds later. And then, furthermore, there's a 2-minute cooldown, or even a 5-minute cooldown, on synthesizing more heat sinks until, basically that timer runs out, then you can synth more. It should not affect explorers. They can probably wait a few minutes if they needed to replenish their supplies. So I don't think that would negatively impact them all that much. Hull limpets seem to be fine. I still much rather would have had a hull repair SRV with maybe some sort of nano goo and a welder on it instead of guns. I think that would have been a much cooler mechanic to have had in order to repair hull. But I understand that hull limpets is kind of the easy way out. Not only that, but accessible to people even with non-Horizons users. Personal preference there. I think a hull repair SRV would have been a much better option than you would involve having to land, deploy the SRV, repair up your hull, and then move on about your business. Some people may disagree with me on that, but the 20,000 light year jump range or jump calculations in the galaxy map and the changes there are awesome. Changes to the messages menu and filters and stuff like that, awesome. Probably the only other area of complaint that I had was with the new crime and punishment system. Saw how that worked firsthand, and I still don't think it's enough to deter the types of behavior that people wish it would deter. In fact, I could never get higher than a 20,000 credit bounty in the Pilots Federation, and it seemed to go, first kill was 5,000 credits. Pilots Federation bounty. Second kill was 5,000 credit bounty. Third kill was 10,000 credit bounty. And any kills that I got beyond that either didn't register or it capped out at 20,000. Now, I don't know if that was a closed beta thing, if that was a bug, or if there was that's just how many commanders that I killed at any given time. But indeed, if I committed the crimes in my cutter and then, say, went into my ASP and got killed in the ASP, or Sidewinder, it still forced me the rebuy cost of the cutter when I got to the screen. So all of that is working. Again, I still don't think it goes far enough. It's still very much lacking the karma aspect to it. I was still able to dock at pretty much any station with a Pilots Federation bounty on my head, and I think until that feature is, or that option is removed, that isn't really going to start to deter certain types of behavior, or at least associate a penalty with that behavior. Now, the Pilots Federation bounty did make you wanted in any system that you went to, but it seemed like even if I was scanned by station security or by the station itself, that I was still allowed to dock at that station unless I had a local bounty on my head, and I think that that needs to be changed. At any rate, that was my experiences. Looking forward to the open beta. I'm hoping that we're going to get a little bit more information about this Type 10 Defender, or the Type X as I'm calling it. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.